Well, happy Monday, and welcome to another day in the life of DJ Bretley. And that's right, it is Monday, December 2nd. It was my first week since May without a wedding or having like 5 or 6 gigs stacked in a week. So I gotta say it was super restful. And I got a lot of work done on the DJ machine, my computer that is. And musically speaking, it definitely showed Saturday night when I was at City Sounds in Prairie du Chien, because that place was lit. Now granted, what did help City Sounds on Saturday night was a wedding party from one of the hotels across the street from City Sounds happened to come in. And with that, it brought the entire wedding party, and they were pretty lit and wanting to dance, which presented a predicament in my mind, actually, which most DJs may or may not think about. And there goes my dog to chase the cat. But a wedding party coming into a bar at, say, midnight, that probably means their wedding party and dance is over. So it changes the selection of songs you're going to play. What I mean is, every DJ, including myself who does weddings, has their top 200 or 300 wedding tracks. And they're all pretty similar across the board from DJ to DJ. Therefore, it made me really have to think about what songs I was playing while they came in. So all of your common wedding hits, anywhere from like Uptown Funk to the Cupid. I don't play the Cupid Shuffle in bars or clubs ever. Don't ask, not happening. But there are one of the few requests I won't play. But it changes the element of what you're working with now. Because one, you've already got a group that's kind of lit up and ready to party and want to dance, but they've been dancing already, so you need to give them something more clubby and a little bit more. I would have to push maybe in playing some minor keys, like Memories or Day and Night, David Guetta's Memories with Kid Cudi, or Day and Night. They've been back in my rotation again lately, but those are both songs in minor keys that push a beat. So everything's not so upbeat and happy. It can give you a little bit of a dark tone, whereas at a wedding, I always tend to keep everything I play a little bit happier, a little bit, bouncy, joyful, pushing towards the sing-alongs, the line dances, and the songs that get people to want to jump up and do super funny stuff, fun stuff, that kind of thing. But that's what Saturday night at City Sounds was for me. And it definitely presented a challenge, not a challenge, but it makes you think as a DJ, what am I doing here? And we have a wild puppy this morning. Stop. Employee of the month here. But yeah, so today is Monday, and I've already had two meetings, very productive meetings, with one more to go today, which I'm hoping, or no, we're going to finish up something for 2020 right there. Dublin Square, my new home away from home in the heart of downtown La Crosse. So I've kind of got 3 homes in downtown La Crosse. Who's on third? The Driftless Arcade, and most recently Dublin Square. And that's how I'm going to kind of keep it right now. I can't over-expand myself in any one market, because one thing you learn about booking, and I'm going to get some booking stuff and go over some booking with you today and give you some of my booking ideas. But if you oversaturate yourself in any one market, each individual show is going to kind of be subpar. Whereas if you're only in the same market once or twice a month, for example, you're going to push that up a little bit. I mean, yes, I'm in La Crosse every Wednesday night doing karaoke and beats at the Driftless Arcade, but that's a little different because it's a weeknight thing when you have your group of regulars and group of friends that you want to hang out with every Wednesday night, and they're always there, and it makes for a fun group experience. Whereas, and again, I'm at Dooley's every Thursday in Rochester. Again, that's more of a residency. It helps me promote my weekends there, but it also helps them keep some kind of entertainment during what is traditionally a slower night. So, with that in mind, I've actually mapped out the week in the life of DJ Bretley and some conversation topics. And today the topic I was going to talk about was booking. And part of my meetings today were about booking. And with that in mind, booking the right gig for you. Just as if you're in a band, a punk band is not going to play a traditionally bluegrass venue. A new country band is not going to, from this market, is not going to go down to Chicago and play somewhere like Reggie's because they book new country. They don't book new country there. It's more of a rock and roll venue. And when I say rock and roll, I use that term very loosely because I consider metal, punk, and all that some form of rock and roll to be exact. But when you consider booking the right gig for you, and as a DJ, when you're booking, like when I book myself now, if you look at my promotion, the places I'm at, I'm looking for a very specific sound and a specific style, venue, etc. to go along with what I'm doing. To be complimentary, Daisy, down, go, no. But to be complimentary to my wedding gigs. And with my wedding gigs, and the meeting I had earlier, for example, I'm looking for that group of people that wants to party, have a good time, be loud, at times maybe pretend they're at a college bar. Because a lot of the weddings I look for, even though I might be a little older, I look for the weddings parties that are going to be in their 20s to mid to late 30s, somewhere in that age, because that's the group that always wants to party, jump around, and have a good time. Now, I've actually learned differently a couple of times. And one was the last wedding I did of 2018, where the bride's 90-something-year-old father was still on the dance floor at 3:30 in the morning. That is one of the rare times I've ever been fooled by it. And the other part of that wedding was all the youngsters under 30 were gone before midnight. Yeah. But generally speaking, as a rule of thumb, the ones that party are going to be 21, 22, up to about 35, 40 that are going to party super hard, be obnoxious, and which kind of plays into what I do in bars and clubs. But again, that's why I've started looking at what I book and kind of targeting in on the right gigs for what I want to do. And as I've said this season, 2019 and 2020, I'm calling it pubs and clubs. And because the only places I'm at, with the exception of the Silverado, and I'll explain that in a minute, are pubs or clubs, legitimately. For example, Dooley's in Rochester. That's a club, but it's called Dooley's Pub. It has both the club aspects of it and the pub aspects of it. Dublin Square here in La Crosse. It's a pub. It's a straight-up pub, so we're calling it Partying in the Pub. I like partying in pubs thanks to my old band, the Mudflaps, back home in Chicago. Other places I'm at, Tavern 129. That is a college bar, college club, so it falls under the club category. City Sounds and Prairie du Chien. That is a club, again, falls under the nightclub category. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to refine, that I only really want to do dancier, clubbier kind of things. It just fits my mentality as well as what I'm trying to put forward as my product for the wedding markets. Now, the Silverado, on the other hand, that's my favorite. I never dreamed I would love a bar like I do the Silverado. Thank you, Tiffany, for bringing me in. Back, Daisy. But Silverado is a whole lot of fun. And it's the only venue I play country at. If you're booking me for other clubs and whatnot, I generally don't play country music. If I do, it's going to be a remix. For example, Dan and Shay's Tequila, I only play... There's two remixes I use, the Rehab remix or the Scooter remix. The Rehab remix comes in a little bit more of a higher BPM than the Rehab remix. But they're both very electronic and very dancey. Or another one I can think of off the top of my head is Meant to Be from Baby Rexha and Florida Georgia Line, but I use the Mr. Collar Park remix of that, which is, again, a little bit more upbeat. It has a little bit more of a twerk rhythm to it. So, booking the right gig for you. If you're only doing weddings and want to branch out just a little, then perhaps I as you know, from my shoes, and after taking all of these gigs that I've done from clubs to bars to events, and all in this market, or within 2 hours of the La Crosse market, a wedding DJ is most similar to a bar DJ. In a certain aspect that you're playing the sing-along, fun stuff that gets people up and moving, but it's not as dance club beat orientated. Because at a wedding, you can make people dance to Neil Diamond's Sweet Caroline, just as you can make people dance to Pitbull's Hotel Room Service. Both of them come in around the same BPM, but are two distinctly different genres and two distinctly different songs. For example, at a bar gig, I probably wouldn't be caught dead playing hotel room service unless I saw a bar full of young people. And when I refer to bars, I'm talking about places in the smaller communities outside of La Crosse that I refer to as like the suburbs of Chicago. Daisy, get down. Go. My puppy, she's been out for 45 minutes already this morning, and she's still being well. But, for example, on that same note, you probably would never catch me playing something like Sweet Caroline in a club. Now, don't get me wrong. Early on in the night, or most of the time, I will play everyone's request. There are very few occasions when I won't. And even still, I honestly try to work every request into my set somehow. Amazingly, someone asked for a song by a band called Moon Taxi and called Put 'Em Up. The song isn't a beated song. It's an alternative rock song. It's not a dance song. So what I did was I took a couple of beats from two different tracks and put them underneath Put 'Em Up. So I did a live mashup and made a really cool remix out of that. And with that in mind, I put those all together, and that's kind of what I look for if I use a remix. You know, beated makes you want to dance. But I oftentimes, there are exceptions, mind you, I try to not play certain genres at club nights. Like in City Sounds being a different beast, I do play some country music at City Sounds, but it's going to be what's charting currently, for example, and it's also going to have some kind of beat to it. One Thing Right from Marshmello and Kane. Now, don't get me wrong, me and my daughter Mira are huge Marshmello fans, but I do play that, even though it's kind of more of a country song, in every venue right now. But at City Sounds, because it's in Prairie du Chien and it's surrounded by farm communities, it's the biggest town in that area. I do have to throw a little bit of a country flair into what I'm doing. Whereas if I'm in downtown La Crosse, generally speaking, I don't play much country. It's not my thing. I know it, but it's not my kind of thing, and it's not what I want to mix into my sets. Obviously, Oktoberfest party on the patio at Dublin Square was, again, something different, where it's catering to people partying on the patio, but also to the entire corner of 3rd and Main who are drinking and partying all day and all night for 3 days straight. But now, again, it all goes back to booking the right gig for you. So since I tend to favor a little bit more of a club sound, but being in the market I'm in, I've kind of established that I'm going to look for a little bit more of a top 40 remix sound. Not EDM sounding, but a little bit more house sounding because of my Chicago roots. And so when I book myself, this is 3.5 years of DJing in this market, and now I've kind of looked at what I want to do with it. Whereas when I first started in this market, I took every gig I can get. I had to learn. I had to figure out what I wanted to do as a DJ. And once I came to the realization, it was very much this year, or late last year, early this year, that I want to specifically focus on weddings, events, and then clubs, more clubby than pubby, but the club dance floor thing. In return, I would like to think my focus has helped out in both my wedding aspects as well as my booking myself at other places. Not saying I don't want to take gigs I'll take a gig anywhere, and because, everybody asking me to work for them sees something in me, and I would like to give that back to them and what they want. But over the, summer, I really wanted to hone in on the right gigs for myself. And I've kind of come up with that. Now for other DJs, booking the right wedding for you. When you're booking a wedding, one of the things I ask every couple when I first contact them about being their DJ is, what kind of music do they like? If they say we only like country, I'm not going to take that wedding, because I'm not a straight country DJ. I look for those that say we like everything, but during the early part of the night, steer clear of hip-hoppy stuff. Or we like it all, but there's going to be a lot of kids at the wedding, so keep content appropriate. Those are the weddings I tend to like and look for, because the people coming, birds of geese flock together, so to speak. And what kind of goes for a couple will also probably coincide with what their friends and everybody else is doing. Therefore, it makes me mapping out what I want to do for the wedding that much easier. Daisy, get down. Sit. Stay. I did not say shake. Yep, this is the training of this big lug. But that's how I book. Now, some DJs who might be from this area or smaller areas who are more in tune with, for example, the country and rock stuff, might be better equipped to take one of those weddings where they say just country or just rock. I look for that big fun hodgepodge of genres because it leaves several different avenues open of directionality of music. Now, later in the week, I'm actually going to talk about how I mix sets and actually bring you live finally now that I've taken a week off from weddings, big events, and had a nice week to settle down and just get kind of relaxed and feel comfy again. But I'll even lay one out, for weddings because I do, and a lot of DJs will fall in the same boat. Here's one of my favorite wedding combinations musically that covers all genres, all age groups, and also lets me get a good read on the crowd. Because what I'm about to list off are the top, in the top 200 wedding songs. So when you're looking at it, when I start off a wedding, coming out of the first dances, from, parents, couple, anniversary, the whole 9 yards, oftentimes I will go into Cupid Shuffle. But I use a specific version of that. So don't try to copy me, everybody. And with that specific version, from that song, I will go into Fishing in the Dark. Now, I have just covered 2 line dances in a row that cover most demographics and genres, so I can see what I'm doing with the crowd. Now, if those 2 songs don't work, you're screwed, give up. Just kidding. But it makes you have to rethink your entire planning. But now, after Fishing in the Dark, I will go into, and this is kind of a power set of me, because it all comes in between 114 and 122 beats a minute. And throughout this, I will actually start bumping up my BPM. I will start off with Can't Stop the Feeling out of Fishing in the Dark and do Can't Stop the Feeling from Justin Timberlake. And yes, I will beat sync that to Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars. But because of the intros I use on those 2 songs, again, not the typical wedding DJ tracks, I will sneak in pushing each song up a couple of beats per minute. My objective is to get up to 126 beats a minute, and I'll explain why in a couple of seconds. Now, I will go into Uptown Funk, and I will try to get that up to about 118 beats a minute. Then from there, I will go into Billie Jean from Michael Jackson. And some people might not think it's cool to play Michael or R. Kelly. The one thing and if you tell me not to play Michael Jackson or R. Kelly at your wedding, I'm not going to play it. But Michael Jackson, before everybody found out all the garbage about him, everybody still danced to his music. It doesn't change the fact that some of his songs were great songs to dance to before he was an asshat. Same with R. Kelly. R. Kelly, however, I'm finding a little bit more passé to play more often than not. And the only time I will ever play an R. Kelly song now is if I'm asked to. I try to steer clear of Ignition in clubs and will play Hotel with him and Cassidy, so it's not a focused R. Kelly song. Or at a wedding, the only song I will touch by him is Ignition. But now going back to my track list. Now, from Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, that comes in at 118 beats a minute. And I honestly I try to get that up at about 121 beats a minute. From there, I will drop Blurred Lines in. But again, on all of these tracks, what works for me may not work for you other DJs. Because I use very specific versions of these songs that kind of enable me to mask the fact that I'm jumping up BPM by BPM by BPM. And I'll explain the BPM curve again at some point later. But now, there's a specific version of Blurred Lines I use. Now, from Blurred Lines, I go into Sugar from Maroon 5. Now, Sugar from Maroon 5 is 122 BPM. And with that, I will take Sugar and bump it up to 124. It enables me to do something here, is now at 124. I'm putting the next song I play out of Sugar is the Cha-Cha Slide. Now you might call me crazy at a wedding for playing 3 group dances, line dances, or what have you in a row. It's setting a certain tone that I look for is that you want to dance, you want to party, I'm going to push that beat to help you do so. Now, with that in mind, from the Cha-Cha Slide, that's a 6-minute song. Now, I've just played for about 45 minutes. That 6 minutes there, I've been behind the DJ booth at that point now for about 90 minutes between the first dances, helping clear the dance floor at some venues to enable dancing for the evening and all the other stuff. Therefore, that's my first opportunity to run and grab a quick bathroom break in 90 minutes if I have to restock my drink and get ready for the next 2 or 3 hours of music. And that's what I use the Cha-Cha Slide for. But I also use it because that's another big party song for all age groups. It's interactive. It tells you what to do. Now, from the Cha-Cha Slide, I actually will go backwards in time a little bit. Because now, at most weddings, I've pushed the beat for 45 minutes. The young folks want to go and get a drink. For the most part, and this is a breaking song that I'm going to put on next, is Sweet Caroline. Comes in at 126 beats a minute. But it doesn't come in with a kicking boom, boom, kick drum and bass track. Therefore, I can overlay that at the very end of Cha-Cha Slide and make a quick fade into Sweet Caroline. Now I'm playing something that's about, almost 40 years old. From there, I will play Earth, Wind & Fire's September. I'm bringing the dance beat back, but for the older crowd. And that at that point, yes, it's a fun song, but that's kind of the cue for the under 35 crowd. All right, let's take a quick break. Let's go get a drink, hit the bathroom, have a cigarette, and then I'm going to rotate this again because now I've pushed up to almost 130 BPM. Now I'm going to bring that back down and work my way back up. And there's a reason for that in both the club setting as well as the wedding setting. Now, at the club and cash bar wedding setting, something I will do is crash the floor a lot. It drives business back to the bar. And if you're in a bar, the bar's main objective is to sell alcohol. So every 45 minutes to an hour, I will crash the dance floor. I won't play a crappy song, but I'm going to slow that BPM back down, bring the tempo down, bring it back up again. And I'm going to do that 3 or 4 times in the night. Now, when I'm at a wedding venue, yes, I'm going to do that at a wedding venue that has a cash bar. Daisy, down, stop. The reason being, at a cash bar for a wedding venue, I'm helping the bar staff out. It's not to help, obviously it's going to help the venue out, but I'm also helping the bar staff out. Because when you crash the floor, people will get a drink. Every time they get a drink, they're going to tip the bar staff $1 or $2. You would hope, even though it's at a cash bar. Now, with the open bar aspect, I'm not as strict about that. The reason being, I'm not going to try to schedule people to keep power drinking at a wedding. It's not the right environment. And at some weddings I did this year where there were some open bars, there was one wedding where I had 2 people sitting at the end of the stage, at tables next to me who had been power drinking the entire night. And this was regardless of what music I was playing. And one of which was in the bridal party, and I had to help them upchuck, get them some garbage cans, and help them find people and friends. With that in mind, I'm not going to be as strict about dropping and upping it as much as I do in a club or cash bar. And the reason I don't want them to power drink and power party super hard. Now, some weddings, some places, you can't control that. And that's when you just have to, do your job as a DJ and keep everybody partying. But that's one of the things I do keep in mind at any time I DJ is alcohol, how much is being consumed. The other part and parcel with that is, after I get the dog to stop, Daisy, no, is drunk people oftentimes ask for requests. Even though you're probably going to play the song. And at a wedding, there's 300 songs that are your bangers, your top songs. Sit. Stay. Quit messing with the cat. Good girl. My puppy's being a little wild today, and this is Daisy for those of you who don't know. But, yeah. But as I was saying, with requests, and yes, I play them, don't get me wrong. But drunk people oftentimes ask for more requests than sober people. And with that, over alcohol consumption speeds the possibility of damage to my gear, my speakers, my deck, people coming close to me with booze. I had a couple instances this year of that, and when I put my hand up to block somebody, she got offended. Well, my drink's not open was the response, and she was already slightly tipsy. I'm like, but I couldn't see that. And yeah, it just creates a hassle. So with open bars, I try not to push that heavy drinking, crashing the BPM as much. Now, the BPM curve, yes, I've worked for a number of years in my life, but the BPM curve was most driven into me when I moved to La Crosse, and it was here at Legends in La Crosse by the Marcus Brothers. And it does work. For DJs who are looking to perhaps complement or add a little bit more of texture or better what they do, take a look at the music you're playing one night along with the beats per minute. Are you driving the floor hard? Are you driving the bar well? Because as a DJ who DJs in bars or clubs, you have to keep that in mind that the bar is there to make money. Some bars you don't have to worry about that at. Others you do. And these are aspects about being a DJ you always have to keep in mind. Anyway, so again, it goes back to booking the right gig for you. And booking the right gig for me, like I said, is steering towards more clubby stuff or college kind of pub party areas. And if you look at my current gig schedule, these are the gigs that I think suit me best and suit what I do best presently. Who's to say 5 years from now or even a year from now, that's not going to change. Where I might change the focal point of what I want to do. But for now, this is where I feel comfortable at, and this is what I'm shooting for. And, no kidding aside, I'm very thankful to the good Lord above who's given me the skills, mind, and all this to actually be able to do or attempt what I'm doing in a credible fashion. Maybe more than credible, as I can't let the cat out of the bag from my first 2 meetings today, but yeah, I would like to think I'm on the right track with what I'm doing and want to do. And with that note, today, the day of the life of this DJ, because I kind of checked out of reality for a couple of days there, I took Thursday for me and Mira, and I took Friday to kind of checked out of all social media and did a bunch of work on my DJ computer. I pushed off some things I should be doing. Now, with the 2020 wedding season approaching me, one thing I wanted to do to better myself, which I am going to do today and tomorrow, is watch wedding videos of other DJs. And the reason I want to look at other wedding DJs is I want to see what I'm doing comparatively to them, because I've been at weddings, I've shadowed other wedding DJs, and vice versa. But I want to take a look at other wedding DJs, their videos, and how they're doing their first dances, their tosses, their anniversary dances, as well as other games that are interactive with the entire wedding party. So I can maybe if watching, 10 hours of videos makes one aspect of what I do and present for my weddings better, it was 100% well worth it. So I'm going to be doing that this week. Now, because of my meetings today, as well as as I'm now kind of booking for my 2021 wedding season, I want to redo my rat cards. I've been using the same rat cards for 2.5 years now, since I started off on my own as a full-time DJ. And the pricing's I want to change some of the wording and everything on them, maybe make them a little bit more fitting what I do. I'm also coming out, yes, for 2020, there are going to be new DJ Brettley merch and swag across the board. new stickers with a new logo. I'm going to have new bumper stickers. I'm going to have, a new kind of look for the whole DJ Brettley experience, as well as January 1st-ish, completely market the booking company Essential Entertainment. So the two work side and side and cooperatively together. Daisy get... But the next thing I'm doing, I got to get some merch together. My merch game has been lacking, and I've known this for quite some time. I've got the Zazzle store, but what I really want now is to do what I did when I was in my old punk band Round Eye. 2005 Warped Tour. One of my favorite moments of my entire life was playing on the Warped Tour with my old bandmates Jeremy and Dave. And with that band had some of the best merch, we could come up with. We had shirts, stickers, buttons, koozies, all sorts of stuff that was branded and we could sell and market our product with, as well as our name. Now, another really great band out of Chicago who I've done sound for and booked for a number of years and I'm still friends with, the Henhouse Prowlers, who used to be known as Sex Fist. And one of their my dog's trying to get my attention, but one of their best marketing things was the Sex Fist thong. Not only was it a great marketing tactic, it also went with their name. But they don't go by the name Sex Fist anymore. So fellas, sorry for bringing the Sex Fist name up. But that's another aspect of what I need to do this week. And on top of that, because I'm now what I'm calling club and pub season... Daisy? Down. No. She's being a little wound up today. But for club and pub season, since I've got a lot more club gigs and a few of them I need to bring my lighting rig to, as well as New Year's Eve at the W in Madison, I'm redoing my entire lighting system and reprogramming everything to have several different shows, different setups, and whatnot in Rekordbox. That's one thing I want to do. Now, I have to follow up for all my ugly sweater parties that are coming up to come up with the right drink specials for each night. Then from there, I've got videos I need to upload, both from, Saturday night at City Sounds, other gigs I've had. And then looking at, other things, like I got to prep my car for the winter season because I'm on the road a lot, 40,000 miles in 2 years, over 40,000 miles in 2 years. I always keep in the winter supplies in the car. Blankets, flashlight, food, water. So if something goes wrong, like it did a couple years back where I was changing a tire in 7 below weather after having a blowout at 25 and 10 up the way in about 2 hours away from north of here, I like to be prepared. That scared the utter shit out of me, not gonna lie. But having all the supplies I need in the car now is essential, especially in winter. In the summer, it might suck having to walk with your shirt and all that, 10 miles to the next town over if something happens. But it won't be as bad as having to in the winter. So I make sure I'm stocked up in the car for anything I could need. Or as much as I can need, including a toolkit. Then, later this week, I've already done my music. I've got to send some tracks out to some folks. Then, coming up this week, I've got to do my show promo, which is very important because now that we're in pub and club season, I have I'm at 3 different venues this week. Dooley's on Thursday and Saturday, Driftless Arcade on Wednesday, and Tavern 129 in Winona. So I got to make sure I get my promo out today and tomorrow. As a performer, be it a band, an entertainer, you need to promote. And that's what I do every week. And promoting the correct way to the right groups in the right areas is something that is key and essential, just as well as tagging certain places and certain things within those posts. So that's one thing I got to do today. Now, it's Monday and Christmas is coming. Mira's asked me to do the Christmas tree. So, we're putting the Christmas tree up. Got to rearrange my house a little bit and make it a little bit more Mira friendly, Christmas tree friendly. Daisy. Down. No, down. Now, and like I said earlier, I mapped out what I'm going to talk about this week during the Day in the Life of a DJ. The next thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to review all my messages for the past few weeks. In case I've missed anything I'm supposed to send back. Because, the wind down of November for me was super busy. And I was kind of fried. I was burnt out, maybe a little. And yeah, I want to make sure there's nothing I miss, because tired eyes, be it for driving, be it for anything, you just aren't as attentive to what you need to be doing. So that's the next thing I've got to do. My dog thinks she's a cat. She is now walking on the ledge of the couch. If you're going to get a puppy, it's great. Really, best thing ever. But then, the next thing I gotta do in the social media groups for weddings is review the posts, see if, that's another way of promoting the wedding aspect of it, bumping those posts up, as well as seeing if anybody's looking for a DJ. Daisy, that's it, go. Next, stop. You are just full of it today. Next, I have some events I have to announce, as well as some videos and stuff I need to upload to social media. And that's something I will be doing. Not to mention all of my regular weekly work, my Facebook post for the DJ page, properly planning out, looking for some memes, sending contracts back. So, yes, I'm going to get to it. But in case you're wondering, and what people see live, you might see a DJ 4 to 12 hours at most at one time. For every one of those gigs, for every time we sit down and do work, there's a lot of work to do in the background. And it's honestly more than a full-time job. I have to put in, I'm going to say 60, 70 hours of work a week. Now, luckily, a lot of that stuff can be done at home. Excuse me for a minute. Daisy, house. House, that's it. Tired. And that's the moment when we put the dog away, because she's getting out of control. She just won't listen. She's been out already. No. Sit. Stay. But that's not part of it today. So anyway, I'm probably going to get to it. Somebody's still a little tired, burnt out from wedding season, but I'm finally picking up the pieces here. I'm going to get to it. So everybody have a great Monday. And for everyone who's working in a DJ booth tonight, I hope your dance floors are packed. Happy Monday, everybody.